Hi, hello, and welcome to the Oracle Counselorship brought to you by Vertex of Abundance. My name is Serene Pieces of Losi. I'll be your Oracle today. There's a nagging remnant of a channel. It doesn't seem to have been dispersed. It wants to come through. I don't know all the details. I don't know everything that's going on. I'm just going to go ahead and get the energy out, see what we got. I'm having some challenges with the psychic airwaves. Seems difficult to tune into a channel. The vibrations, the frequencies are terminating rapidly, meaning things from the spiritual become physical quicker than normal, which is pretty much how Ascension works. But it's just like a Libran energy left around. It's the number 11. I'm thinking a lot about the Justice card and the Judgment card. Il Justizio, La Justizia. Venusian energy as well. I'm also getting Sekhmet, and I'm hearing the Elysian mysteries. Also, halls and records. Strength, courage, and wisdom, alignment, the right path, triumph over evil. Okay, so why don't we just clear this channel because it's driving me wild, making me rowdy. I want it gone. So we'll close this out. You know, before I came back to the channel, for days, Spirit kept, throwing pebbles at my window saying, hey, go, do this. So here we are. I need the Justice card or the Judgment card. We have the Hangman right now. Yeah, we're standing at the precipice of some kind of manifestation cycle. We're in the dark about a lot. I think it might be ignorance as well as being in the dark. This in the dark can be attack, cruelty, ignorance, also can be haunting. Wow, what's going on here? Oof, hey, working me. Okay, so we never finished that Hangman channel. This there's a spiritual perspective we're coming to, and it's about holding our ground. But the holding our ground is according to, well, as always, our authentic self, our true nature. But this is the part that fuels the harvest. So I'm hearing accomplishment and reputation. We have been, or we are steadily trying to defend our reputation, stand our ground. Also, some of us might be having money struggles, and it's more about keeping money as it is. Maybe it's a cash flow. It can also be debt restructuring, consolidation, refinancing. But it's almost like that's what we're focused on. But actually, internally, what's going on is that we're coming to our peace. Like I was saying, our authentic self, our true nature. It's through understanding the eternity of our soul and how chosen it is and special it is to the Creator. There's some aspect of us that is not just Bashir, not just chosen, but also beloved. And we've been ignorant of that. And actually, what it seems like this ignorance would look like naivete, gullibleness, but it's really a true hearted, genuine, authentic, sincere, good nature. And this might be exploited or attacked by others. Others might also use it to poo-poo on us, like bring us down or use that in the collective complaining that they have. Usually when a narcissist comes to the table, when an enemy comes to the table, when an adversary comes to the table or the battleground to combat, they're going to have a laundry list of things that are wrong with you, or a whole bunch of sugar, honey, iced tea shit, a whole bunch of shit that can talk. Excuse me, sugar, honey, iced tea. So, shiznit. So, you know, when people are tolerating you and not celebrating you, that also is something, because you're only going to want to be in places where things are fertile, felicitous. Abundance is many things, mainly fullness, fulfillment, felicity, which is things take root and grow quickly. Things harmonize quickly. They're not discordant, meaning if it's not a flow, it's not a go. Your vibe attracts your tribe. If there's an experience that's just repelling you away from a person, place, or thing, whether it's a concept or idea or a being in an environment surrounding location, allow it. People want to come, let them. People want to stay, let them. People want to go, let them. Don't let them walk on you. Don't let them push you to anything other than you. Because when they come and go, what's left behind is you and yourself. So you need to take care of you and yourself and serve what's alive in you and yourself. There's a calling within you. That's the God alive in you. And so you need to clear away all the caca that's in the way of that calling in you. Also, you need to purify and cleanse and remain on a righteous devotional path so that that inner calling doesn't become muddied and fallen. You want to make sure that the inner calling is still chosen. But see, the inner calling here is the Queen of Cups. So that's really clean and pure. That's what the hangman is telling us, is that there is a great potentiality of loss. There is a risk of tainting the soul. There are things we need to defend against, and we need to be very clear, very well learned about the things that we're not allowing in. And it can just be through experience. We've had enough failures along the path, along the line, up until now in this life. We've had enough pitfalls, misgivings, shortcomings, deficits, etc., failures, to know really what we cannot allow, what seeds we won't allow to be planted, what we won't give to, the things we won't invest in. And it's this clarity of proper judgment according to our own standards and boundaries, according to how secure we are in the self. We might have been externally guided up until now. I don't know what that is. I don't know what that looks like. We weren't in alignment with our self-worth and value, basically. So we didn't have the strength, courage, and wisdom to stand and said self-worth and value, basically. So there was no potentiality for hope, faith, and optimism. Where is the hope, faith, and optimism what is that driving, that hope, faith, and optimism? If there's a pessimism, there's no hope. If there's a pessimism and no strength, if there's no strength and there's no courage, that means there's fear. If there's fear, there's not an abundance of balance and harmony and order. Because order would insist that you come up to the razor cutting bleeding edge, and then you take a leap into the divine, and the divine carries you into that place where you're no longer, like, so if there's something new or scary, or there shouldn't be fear. There shouldn't be confusion. And these things come up. And when they come up, they inform your experience. If you're lingering there, that's karmic. If fear comes up, if confusion comes up, that's catalytic. Realign with the divine, realign with your dharma, which means you have to purify your karma. Whatever's in front of you, blocking you from your good karma, go through it. It's typically bad karma. It doesn't have to be from you. It doesn't have to be from this life. You could have been born with it. You could have came through with it. Okay. So when fear comes up, when confusion comes up, and you sit in it and dwell in it, that's when that catalytic event becomes karmic. And if you're unaware that you're in that stuck place, that's when it's distorted. when you're continually seeking that out. The wallowing and the dwelling and the fear, the wallowing and the dwelling and the confusion, the staying, even though you're confused, even though you're not certain. In order to get to this faith, hope, and optimism, which is the belief in a bigger, brighter, and better, we need strength, courage, and wisdom. We will never have strength, courage, and wisdom without self-worth and value, because self-worth and value is the foundation, the system structure foundation we stand upon in order to leverage the means, mechanisms, and methodology of strength, courage, and wisdom. We have no ability to leverage this strength, courage, and wisdom without this self-worth and value. If you don't have self-worth, there's nothing to be strong and courageous about. You will continually allow yourself to sustain whatever wounds come your way. And wounds are still going to come your way. You're still going to sustain them, but you grow through them. You move on into a bigger, brighter, and better. Okay, so that's the third thing. The bigger, brighter, and better, also known as faith, hope, and optimism, okay, comes after strength, courage, and wisdom. Also known as triumph over evil, meaning you need to learn what entities and substances to keep out of your system. Maybe you can't do haterade. Maybe you can't do complainers. Maybe you can't do lazy people. Maybe you can't do ugly people. Whatever it is, you know what toxins to disallow from your system, to defend against. You know what types of contraband won't pass through your core, your C's, your core, your customs. You know what things don't meet your boundaries and standards. Okay, this message is deeply encoded, as you can see. So I'm looking for the Justice card. Yeah, so I'm glad that got some clearance. The Justice card, please. Here we go. Okay. So this Justice card is saying, because it can be the cemetery, it could be judgment, it could be deliberation, it could be inner chambers, it could be the cabinet, so like the ruling advisory of a group, even a nation. This is things bubbling up from the depths to the surface. They typically come from the abyss, so it's a lot of creative ideas, a lot of things that are primordial, so they might not fit into our perspective, our consciousness experience. Maybe it might not be in alignment with emotions in general. It might not be in alignment with thoughts in general, because it's from a higher dimension, a higher space-time. So down here, it's very compact, it's very much mired in time. Time is a conveyor belt through which karma could be manifested in the physical. So that would be a counterpoint to law, okay? And typically you can supersede most laws as long as you are in alignment, meaning you're spiraling into the all, not away from the all. In that sense, basically being in alignment would help transmute, mitigate, expedite karmas, basically. Any type of misgivings, any type of misalignment. Now, there are some cardinal sins that are difficult to cleanse from. Typically, you can't. Like, for instance, infanticide or matricide. We've had a lot of different experiences that we need to confront. they've gone to the background. Now they need to come back to the foreground. And it's almost luck where we're going to see the reason why a handful of things didn't work out. It's not going to be just one thing. But I'm detecting that there's been a lot of false starts, misconnections. And it's not all intimate relationships, but it would be relationships. We could have had a fight with a coworker over a small misunderstanding. We clearly understood, but they, on the other hand, went so far with that misunderstanding that they just looking stupid, acting stupid, sounding stupid. Something like that I'm hearing. There's a handful of different misconnections. Things are coming to the foreground, things are pushing forward. And again, like I said, we're going to see why certain things didn't work out. And justice is coming. So alignment, if things were out of balance, unfair, excuse me, it's my day off, I'm in my PJs. I just don't want that heater making any more noise. The sun's out, I don't need it on. Okay, so I'm just getting like, there's been this hidden cheating, bickering, backstabbing, maybe even competition. I'm hearing competition. I don't see it. I don't understand it, which means it's really kind of baffling and deceptive. And this is the second 7. So that just tells me that there's hidden warfare going on that's really becoming known. So hidden enemies are becoming known enemies, open enemies. And that there's jealousy, but what we're perceiving at first is the cheating, bickering, backstabbing, or maybe just the conflict or the challenge or the conundrum or the crossing. There may just be some type of communication that's harsh, gossip maybe, harsh judgment that's not directly in our face. People also taking actions against us, maybe something as simple as to not talk to us or to distance themselves from us, but not telling us about it. So a lot of these things are like gonna be out in the forward now, because they were in the background for a minute. Come on now. Boy. Okay, well, what I said was true because it's almost like, okay, I'm hearing batty addy, which is like a version of being bratty, which is like a version of skunk medicine, which is like, do your do is what I'm hearing. Do you. Walking your path, not worrying about what other people around you are saying, because you have the love of the creator. You are in a union with great spirit, with the galactic sovereign. You don't need to factor in all this extra data that's irrelevant to your findings. People's opinion is no. I mean, very rarely does people's opinion matter, even when you need something from them. If they don't like you, love you, they're just filtering themselves out of your life. They're doing the hard work for you, letting you know to release them. I'm a Cancer. I don't attach, but I can form an attachment. Ooh, let me tell you. So that's like something this year and last year that's been very clear for me. It's because I'll keep trying to make it work. And it's not even that, keep trying to make it work. What it is like we innocently mistake the problem. Like the problem we revealed to us. We'll be so loving and naive and innocent and gullible or just uneducated, not basic, but dull. Untempered, that we'll perceive or we'll start working on something that really just needs to be released. Some things you don't salvage, you throw away and buy another one. Okay. And so we've been chasing after all these throwaways. We're not digging in the gutter, we're not digging in the garbage, but we're trying to prevent garbage, people, places, and things from going to the wastebasket. We're trying to prevent the garbage from being disposed of. And see, that's the equivalent of God trying to give you an angel, and you'd be like, "Oh, but Creator, I love this demon. This demon is so fun." But and they're trying to give you an archangel. I'm dramatizing an idea, but that's what's coming through. Funnily enough, we have a Hierophant card when I'm talking about angels. I use the this for a ministering angel. I use this card to mean ministering angel. So it's funny that I was channeling that, and then I looked at the cards, and that's what was transmuted. What's going on here? Okay, got it. That's what I needed. Okay, so there's some type of collective burden. We're really working hard at defending our ground, and we're not clear on what defending our ground is, but we've been working for this type of stability, stance, and really we keep going to a place. It might be work, our sense of work, our sense of earning a living, our sense of service. There needs to be some shift in the perspective, but we're holding our ground. So we're working in something that's increasingly more confusing, increasingly more oppressive, burdensome. It's increasingly more out of our hands, almost like we need to um, hang ourselves out to dry, some kind of sacrifice that's not quite clear, or surrender upon which the purpose is not yet known. And it's like unexpected expense, not always monetary. There are expenses in this extra mile. There are road bumps in this extra mile here. And we're not quite aware of the reasons why or how. And what this is really is our future self has given us a foundation, but we're not able to perceive it because of the spiritual perspective that we're under. We don't have the proper spiritual perspective. But we're winning. According to our spiritual body, our emotional body, our mental body, our physical body, we are winning. And the priestess of heaven, the crown of heaven, they're all in alignment with the chosen children, the ones really living the righteous path. Because there's a lot of tricksters out there, but there's also a lot of really calculated gangsters. Like the devil's out there right now. Since we're going to a new level, we're dealing with new devils, but it's really the same devil in a different form. It's the same energy coming through. See, this energy keeps coming back. And now the message was sent by the devil. So I'm just detecting here, like, okay, you're having this expansion, these cold hard truths are coming to the foreground. There's collaboration through cohabitation, some kind of shared emotion, shared not resource, but for monetary resource. It's shared emotional needs. There's shared emotional needs here. Truth and skill. Because there's a lot of different conflicts in relationship to people, places, and things. Relationship. Okay, so here's the thing. Remember, I was saying I'm getting Libra energy, the Judgment card. We have it. I brought it. Okay, so this is centered around this Queen of Wands on the throne. So if it's us and within our camp, which it's smack dab in the middle, um, it would talk about, first of all, our etheric body could talk about your enemy. You could talk about your competitor. If you're in the marketplace competing, the marketplace could be the dating scene, it could be commerce, enterprise, even for a promotion if you're vying for something and there's other candidates. This is a woman that's close to us, unless we are currently overcoming a habit, an attachment that we've always had. So unless we're overcoming something, it can be as much as addiction or some kind of, unless we're overcoming addiction or codependency issues, this is probably a woman connected to our youth or connected to our childhood or our childlike innocence. We have indications here of a witch. Okay, but what I'm detecting is that they've built up this institution, this system, this working of energy, and it's essentially they've built a hole for themselves. They didn't realize that they were tempering us in the fire. Maybe they tried to bury us and they didn't realize we were a seed. Maybe they put us under all this type of pressure, conflict over years and years. They didn't realize, and now that we came out like a diamond, there is a cycle that's over. We are reaping the benefits of the cycle because justice is on our side. Something was unfair, something was unbalanced. We are now in alignment, and we are the ones having a direct relationship with the divinity here. Things have been protected for us. We might have had a single mind, an empire state of mind for our lives and ourselves, but a single mind to defend one or two things. And then behind our back or in the background, the ancestors, the female ancestors. So yeah, Chamba, but I'm hearing the Sakpatasi, Saturnian energy, the Saturnian ancestors. Um, I'm hearing the word Babalao. That's not my tradition. I don't practice Orisha. But I'm hearing that word. Okay, the Sakpatasi have been protecting a Sekhmet, the lioness, Narishmima. Okay, now not everybody is dealing with an evil witch or anything of that nature. So yeah, okay, I just keep getting competition from this card here. See, us ourselves, we're sitting on this hard work. We've been planting seeds and we're sitting pretty in some kind of position here. And we've built a foundation for ourselves that's unshakable, but it is sustaining a lot of things, attacks, essentially. And what's in the future is more energy being pushed at us, and it's somebody who's has something lying in wait. we're already halfway into some kind of plan, or we've already completed some kind of a cycle with them, so they still have tracks laid. But see, this person is, whether they realize it or not, they're mired under delays and delays and delays. And the more they act, the bigger the hole they built is dug for themselves. Because really, our blessings are decided by how cruel their attacks get. And it can be a collective, but there's a ringleader here if there's a collective. Because I'm seeing that person and I'm seeing their plans, and their plans are already matured. But I'm seeing us and I'm seeing our plans, and our plans are already mature. And they fall into the hole they've dug for themselves, and we're sitting on the throne we built for ourselves. And the thing is, we get blessed by the thing they do to us because we transmute it into something we've always wanted for ourselves, and we just use their energy as fuel. So they do the hard work for us. And so this justice card is karmic justice, because essentially we're reaping from some kind of seeds that were sown, and we might not have been the one to reap, to sow the seeds, because the seeds of demise were sowed. But whatever gets harvested here, it's blessings. So that means transmutation. And we don't have the temperance card here, but we do have a Sagittarius energy here. And it talks about that pressure, turning that piece of carbon into a diamond. This is the person digging a hole for themselves. So it's not just another person. If we're not dealing with an evil witch or whatever, there's another perspective. And it's that us versus outside. There also can be inside the house and the collective. So it's us versus other opposer, whether they're adversarial or not. This outside, think of sun, moon, think of it that way. So the moon talks about the inner life, the sun talks about the external life. Okay, so external to us, there's a lot of energy being pushed at us. So it can be the colonizer, controller, the government, the shadow government. It can be the system, structure, foundation of institutional rulership that we're in, whether it's the church system or the governmental system. There's five filters of reality: politics, media, education, religion, and government. Those are the five filters of reality. There's some type of cabal. It would be a cabal designed to keep peasants as peasantry, to not increase the gentry. The last remnants of power have been enshrined in this person. It's going to start to be depleted, and I'm seeing them heal, but I'm not seeing them replenish. So they're doing too much. And you see this sister structure foundation that's built up against, it's not directly oppositional, and it never would have worked because I don't see it being that strategic, that calculated. It's really more their will, their aggression, so it can be that the systems and structures that are built up against advancement, mobility, movement in this world, they're very strong right now. The powers that be are becoming the powers that were. Different power structures are going to begin to be dismantled. And the first thing that happens is the flame alive within ourselves, the hope, wish, dream, heart's desire, soul's ambitions alive within ourselves. That's the first thing that gets transmuted. And then we start to see that in the collective. Once 1,000 minds wake up, the world will wake up. Think of it that way. Two kings is an alliance. They're not working in cooperation here. Two queens can be a conflict. Three queens definitely. It's different facets of the self and one enemy or one external. There's two camps here. There's an external camp and an internal camp, and both of their plans are complete. So the internal camp, the plans are complete. The external camp, the plans are complete. It's in the favor of the internal camp. Us, ourselves. We win. Judgment is in our favor. And see, they would try to appeal that. They think that they have some kind of right, or they don't want to let go of something that they gained healing. He's on our side. And see, the thing is, whatever is going on here, we've been giving to it and we stopped giving to it. And so that's also part of this aggression. Because anything from us will be fine. So, like, think of it, if we're not dealing with an evil witch, like the government, they need us to be fighting. They need us to be divided. They need us to be polarized. They need us to be in opposition to each other. Because then we're not standing strong against them. For instance, Republicans versus Democrats, or socialists versus nationalists, or you see how it's against, it's not unified. Rich against poor, the bourgeois against the serfs, the commoners. They have two kings, three queens, but the emperor's out, so it's really all the kings. So we have two kings, three queens, two tens. We also have the judgment card, the justice card, the strength card, and the emperor card. Strength, courage, and wisdom with it's Sekhmet, Sakvatasi. Strength, courage, and wisdom with the strength card, system structures foundation, self-governance, self-mastery. With this emperor card, we have alignment, triumph over evil, balance with this justice card. And then we have aha moments, awakenings, final decision. Awakening to true purpose and true nature with the judgment card. And our blessings are coming to us because we've done the right thing. We focused on our own work. We focused on our own self. We gave to the enemy lovingly. We showed up with unconditional love, undying compassion. And we were wounded, but it made us stronger. And now I want to see if there's some kind of fortune change. Yeah, because we did have an enemy. We were ignorant to this enemy, but we were still protected from them. And then, so I was detecting, and now the wheels have turned, the tables have turned. I didn't know where that was, where I was detecting that tables have turned. So this unknown enemy does become known, but as they're becoming known, they get removed. Yeah, so we need to allow old people, places, and things to leave so that new people, places, and things can come through. Conscious connection. It's a number 8. So that's that strength card, strength, courage, and wisdom. Remember I was saying, if you don't have strength, courage, and wisdom to stand in your self-worth and value, you will never have faith, hope, and optimism. Faith, hope, and optimism is believing that the universe is trying to give you what you want, believing that you're blessed, believing that you're co-creating with the universe, diving for light, essentially. Because what you feel is what you know. And there's perfection to our life. Everything is happening in divine timing and divine accordance. Even if we were aware of it, not aware of it, ignorant, not ignorant of it. Other people are a lot more cold and calculated, and we're not. We're a lot more naive and XYZ and LMLP, but you know what? That the more naive we are, the more protected we are. Remember that queen? I wasn't sure if what it was talking about. It was talking about something that was hidden. It could have also included sorcery. I'm not able to get around a negative connotation. And it would have been somebody that was schemy. So it might have been like a institutional narcissist, somebody that has a stature where they're like in public, they're one kind of way, well beloved, but in private, they're like a beast, a monster. This person is two-faced. They're really kind of nasty, but they don't appear that way, and it's very difficult to get to see that side. But the core need is to defend against them. Because the constant is that they're going to come at you strong and consistent based off some kind of emotional imbalance. And the driver of this energy is a bad sex vibe. So that's somebody who's an enchantress or femme fatale, or when you say no to them, then they try to destroy you, or if you reject them or deny their advances or whatever. It can also be they try to love on you and you're like, okay, that's not the way I love, that's not the way I show up, that's not the way, or this doesn't feel right to me, or this isn't authentic or in alignment, or whenever you define your own boundaries and standards, or you align with your own truths, they become unhinged. And see, the person who secretly becomes unhinged and doesn't overtly become unhinged is even more dangerous, because you're fighting a war that you don't even know. And I'm not into fighting at all. I'm a lover. I'll just, yield, but I will pray, and that's oftentimes enough protection. So this being a lover, not a fighter, it's really more. That's what I kept saying. This innocence and purity and naivete and gullible nature. It's this Princess of Cups, Queen of Cups versus the Queen of Swords, or the Page of Wands. Yeah, okay, they're dynamic, they're skillful, they're discerning, they have a very high acumen, but they're not chosen. That beloved nature, Page of Cups, beloved nature, that chosen soul, Queen of Cups, pure-hearted and loving, caring and kind, genuine and nurturing. That Queen of Cups, Page of Cups, we do have the Queen of Cups here. And it really wins out well for our side, because it says we're clean, we're healed, and we're chosen. But for them, the other side, it's calling them emotionally unbalanced. That they're steadily convicted in their emotional imbalance, and also that whatever they're creating from there is going to destroy them. And see, it tempered our fire, it tempered us. So we do have something negative here on our side, but it's really more, it served as a protection. Somebody blocked us from going forward, from taking movement, from having mobility. And we're also, and it blocked us from the awareness and the knowledge that they're an enemy. So yeah, they keep coming back, keep coming back, keep coming back. And really, we need to learn that we're too sensitive. We need to detox a lot more. We need to not allow so much in. We need to understand that we're easily gullible, that we're easily led in certain directions, or that even if we're not easily, we chose somebody that willfully led us somewhere, cunningly, baffling, and deceptively, underhandedly. And this is all sorcerer energy. We have 8, the snake, and the phoenix. So what it does is it tempers us in the fire. It initiates us. However, we were tender, we were pliable, we were easy to exploit when they came. But there's a primordial energy here, a primal nature that can never be. I'm gonna read Octopus. Oh, I really want to leave. Please stop talking. This channel is very active. Yeah, so we will a bit, okay, we're now learning how to navigate the fear, how to stand up to the things that frighten us. And it's because we found our own resources, so we can finally speak our truth without fear of consequence, because we have gracefulness in our speech, humility as well. We've now become unstoppable because we have self-acceptance. So now we're being guided, because we're spirit-filled, we're being guided through the dark. I'm happy that they kept speaking, but I'm tired. It's an honor and a pleasure to hold space. It does take a lot sometimes. I'm very sensitive. My constitution is rather delicate, and I am a diva as well, so that exacerbates things. So that was the message. We're waking up. Our divine self is waking up. Okay, it's been an honor and a pleasure to serve you. Thank you for allowing me the privilege and the pleasure to do so. If anything that is said resonates deeply with you, go ahead and check the information in the show notes. Until we meet again, until we read again. Namaste, Dindaba, and Ashe. Sayonara, Das Vidanya, Avita Zen. Arrivederci. Adios. Bye.